This is Batman from the comic book Superman Speeding Bullets, where he's actually Superman. A quick look at the packaging, you get a plastic window packaging. I wish other companies would do that, Hasbro. The packaging for the figure is fairly basic, but on the back, you do get a really cool picture. Now let's open it up. Get out, get out, get out, get out. You know, maybe using scissors like that wasn't the best idea. Anyways though, here's a look at the figure and he looks really nice. Now some quick backstory on this character. This guy is basically what if Batman and Superman were one character. Superman lands on Earth, the Wayne family finds and adopts him, names him Bruce Wayne, his parents die.
Crime Alley. This is where I watched my parents die, Optimus.
Get the fuck over it!
He lasers the murderer's face off, and then several years later, he becomes Batman. This version of Superman was angsty and depressed.
Nothing but violence and death. I hate it.
Shut the hell up already!
Zack Snyder wasn't the first to do it.
No one stays good in this world.
Serious?
But later on in the comic, he becomes more hopeful and changes his superhero identity to Superman. Now, a closer look at the figure, I think he looks really great. He has some really good muscle definition to him. It would be nice if it was just a little bit more defined, but you get some nice stuff up here on the chest, the arms, and down all the way to the legs. Back on the chest piece, you get the upper section being really wide and then slimming down into the torso. You do get some of these nice details on the side, which are on the suit in the comic. I have no idea how to describe them or what they're called, but they look pretty cool. The head sculpt on this figure, while simple, is done really well. This version of the character, as you can see, has a full mask instead of a half mask. It kind of reminds me of this Batman Beyond cowl from this one photo shoot I did with Saddle Up.
This is totally not an attempt to promote my photography account, which you should follow, by the way.
You do get some nose and chin definition and those classic white Batman eyes. Now I want to quickly talk about the cape. It's made of a very flexible material and it feels very angry and aggressive, which does fit the character. I do feel like it would be better if it was a bit more spread out. As of now, I feel like it's just a little bit too slim, which doesn't really help for any sort of flying poses, but it is pretty much the classic Batman cape. The cape does have a nice texture to it, and you can see some texture detail on it. It's kind of hard to see. I hope the camera can pick it up. There's even some more of that texture pattern on the inside. In the chest section, you get the Batman insignia in that Superman diamond shape. I love how bold the insignia is. The diamond piece is a separate section with the yellow and Batman insignia painted on there. Also on this side, there does seem to be some quality control issues, which is unfortunate. Down over to this section of the arms, you get those nice classic Batman gauntlets with the spikes. You can see a little bit of muscle definition and some nice wrinkles near the wrist. The hands look really nice. You can see some vein detail on there, which is really cool. And these types of hands do kind of feel like claws with the way they're shaped, and they are a little bit pointy. Turning over to the abdomen section, it is a very nice sculpt. Down over to the belt, a simple yellow color with a simple design all the way around. I don't particularly think this Batman has a utility belt because he probably doesn't need one. You get the black underwear on the outside with some nice wrinkle detail, and it is a flexible piece. Down over to the legs, once again, a better look at that muscle definition, looking really good. And then down over to the boots, they're very nice and blue. I do like the design on them. I love all these lines going out throughout it. The colors on this figure look amazing. The grays, blues, blacks, and yellows all look great. I do feel like some of the paintwork was kind of sloppily done on my copy of the figure. Looking at the back of the figure, pretty much just regular muscle definition, not much else going on. He is a little bit thick. There's a little bit of wrinkle detail in there, and it looks like his cheeks are making his tights struggle to stay together. This is a really sick and menacing looking Batman figure. Fun fact, before they released this figure, I tried making my own custom version of him with the Batman figure, and it didn't go so well, and I kind of gave up and forgot about it. One thing I do want to point out, in the comics, it seems like the blue should be black instead, because the blues are supposed to be highlights. I could be wrong about that, and he could just have a blue suit. I think the blue looks a bit better, which is why I tried making my version of him blue also. My poor attempt at him. Here he is next to another Mcfarlane Batman figure, and then another Batman Mcfarlane figure, and then a Superman figure. And as you can see, the capes on these guys are much wider than this figure. So like I said earlier, I do wish the cape was wider. I do love the design with all the comic book panels on the inside cardboard box. Time to rip it open. So the figure comes with this card with that really cool picture. On the back, you do get a description of the character if you want to pause and read that. It does seem like it is a bit difficult to get him to stand, which is unfortunate. However, you do get a flying stand, which can also be used as a regular stand with that 3mm port. It's not the best stand, and the connection was kind of loose, but it is appreciated to have in there. And inside the plastic packaging, you do get two fist hands. And the sculpt on these fists are done pretty nicely. Each individual finger is really well defined. Now for the articulation, the head can move up and down, full 360 rotation on it. You do get a side-to-side movement as well. The hands can move all the way out there, a full 360 rotation. You do get a butterfly joint, so you can bring the arms back there. Bicep rotation, hand rotation, and the hands can move up and down. You get a crunch forward, and you can get him to lean back. A rotation up here, and a rotation at the waist. A really good elbow bend. The legs can move forward out there, out to the side, and then back, but this piece does get in the way, limiting the articulation. And then when you bring it forward, that happens, so you gotta be wary of that. You do get a sort of rotation because of the ball joint, a pretty good knee bend, foot rotation, a foot pivot, and this token move. Overall, this is a pretty good Mcfarlane figure, and I do like it. Now check out this other video over here of mine. It's probably Transformers related, and a big thank you to all my patrons who support me on Patreon.